Hello YouTube, it's Lion here with Hobbies of a Man once again, and today we are talking about a comic book. Well, in reality, we're talking about two issues of comic books, but today we're talking about Heavy issue 1 and 2, and I'll keep this as vague and as spoiler-free as possible because I actually don't know what I can and cannot say. The author for this series is Max Bemis, who I've never heard of before, but what he did here was really interesting, so I'm really excited to check out more of his stuff. It's illustrated by Eric Donovan. It's designed, or like the characters are designed by it, I think, by someone else, I think, whose name is Tim Daniels. Letters are done by Taylor Esposito, and colors are done by Chris Peter. Now, this is published by Vault Comics, and I picked these up because they were giving them out for like reviews as a kind of promotional thing. I was really happy to have gotten these, and I hope to maybe check out some of their other stuff and hopefully see if I can review some of it, because they're releasing Brandon Sanderson's Dark One, the new comic book, which I think is separate from the Cosmere, but I'm really excited about it. Now, like I said, the publisher is Vault Comics. The genre is dark fantasy and comedy. There's no adaptation, and this is literally not even released yet. It releases on the 16th of September. Issue 1, I think, is available on the 16th of September. I'm not exactly sure how far they are and how many they're planning to release, but it's very high quality stuff. I really recommend it. So, the premise of Heavy, and I'll put a picture up here so you guys can see what I'm talking about. I think I'm allowed to use the first 6 pages, so I'll show you one of them right here. The premise of Heavy is that these people, or people that were rather neutral in life, or weren't good enough to go to heaven, but not bad enough to go to hell, go to this in-between place called the Big Wait. And then they're split into factions and given a task that they must complete or do a lot of, kind of to gain points, to gain credit enough to get into heaven, which is called The Climb, I think. And we follow someone who is put into the Heavy faction, or the Heavy class, which is a group of people that are charged with hunting down and kind of policing crazy people in the multiverse kind of thing. So we follow one of them, and we follow 2 of them, but the first volume focuses on one, or the first issue focuses on one of them. His name is Bill. So I'm going to evaluate this the same way I would evaluate any other book. I'm going to talk about the plot, the character, the world building, art, and fan service. And then I'll tell you if I recommend it, which I already did, but I'll do it again. And then it's kind of similar titles that I can come up with. So the plot here is very, very fun. It's set up clearly and simply in issue 1, and you have no problem following what's happening. It's very well executed, and there's enough crazy action there to keep you entertained, even with the somewhat heavy exposition. This is a very text-heavy pair of issues, specifically more so the first one, but it is setting up the whole premise and story and kind of universe, so it makes sense that it would be kind of like that. But there's enough action, like I said, to support this heavy exposition as it continues on to issue 2. It's very violent and fun, and honestly, I thought the comedy was great. I wasn't expecting it to be this good. I didn't even know it was a comedy. I thought it was just pure action. And it was wonderful. I really enjoyed myself reading both of these issues. I finished both of them, and I was like, man, that's a really, really fun comic. So I hope you guys check it out and enjoy it as well. So the characters here are, again, very interesting and fun. Bill is a very normal, kind of sad guy that kind of had it rough in life, but he finally managed to do well, and then bam, he dies, and he kind of ends up with some issues with that. And then we have 2 other characters, and well, 2 other ones that are kind of important. Well, one of them is really important, but I'm not going to mention much about him except his name, which is Slim, who is like an anti-hero type of character. I won't spoil anything though, because it's a big important part of issue 2. And then the other person is like, I don't know her name. I think they call her the captain lady, but I think she's kind of more like the secretary slash social worker for Bill. She's in charge of assigning him tasks and kind of pointing to where he should go. And she's a very interesting character as well. I quite like her. Her style, her kind of hinted at backstory is really interesting. I'm really excited to see where it goes for her. So overall, like I said, very interesting, very cool, very well designed characters. I quite enjoyed learning about them. Now, the world building here is, again, very good. It is a heavy exposition kind of series, so it was really well supported by that interesting kind of plot line. And it was cool how they kind of did the exposition. It was kind of like remembering / here's a scene, let's go back to the beginning, tell you it. It's a very kind of well done, slightly interesting, different kind of take on giving exposition, and I quite liked it. Now, the art here is great. It's kind of wild, a little bit messy. It's very sketchy feeling, but very boldly done. Like, everything is clear. It just has a bit of a cartoony kind of sketchiness to it, and I really like it. The coloring is really interesting as well. There's a lot of colors that I would have personally not chosen, but that work really nicely. Like lots of bright reds and blues and like very vibrant kind of interesting color choices, and I quite like it. But I think the paneling and the inking was really interesting. A lot of it was good. Didn't feel kind of awkward or different or in any way bad. It just felt kind of fresh and interesting. Although that could be because I do read mostly manga, and this is slightly different, so it might just be that it's new and fresh to me. I'm not really sure. Anyone that's willing to let me know, though, please drop it in the comments down below. Fan service? Well, I don't know if it's really fan service. They're just kind of naked a lot, and it's kind of part of the joke, kind of the comedy of it. It's like, hey, these guys are fighting, but they're naked, and it's really funny. Like, it does work. I did laugh the first time. I was like, oh, what the heck? Why are they naked? It was really funny. It was kind of interesting. I'm not exactly sure. It's not like naked in the sexy way. It's naked in like, oh God, why are they naked? Or like kind of they're very vulnerable because they're naked kind of thing. So it's interesting. But if anyone's not okay with seeing naked men and women, there you go. I rate this a 4.5 to a 5. I think it's very, very well done. And I quite enjoyed myself. But I wasn't really sure what to expect going in. And I don't know if that really affected my grading or my rating, I guess. But I would say a solid 4.7 to 5 would be a really good score for this. I really enjoyed it. So I can't really think of any complaints either. So I guess a 5 would be the proper score now that I'm puzzling out for you guys. And yeah, I definitely recommend it. I think it's very good. I think everyone would really enjoy it. If you're kind of tired of the generic superhero comic books that are kind of all the same storyline, just with slightly different art and slightly different takes, this would be interesting to you guys. And I think Vault Comics has a really interesting catalog of a lot of different things. There's a lot of series that I want to check out that seem really interesting and that have really cool art. So yeah. The similar titles, the promotional material says that The Punisher in the Good Place is a kind of interesting way to look at it. And yeah, it kind of does fit. It would be a very Punisher-y kind of Punisher in the Good Place. It's very clear and cut that's exactly what they were going for. And it really works. I really enjoyed it. It's not... It's fantasy, and I would classify it or think of it similarly to kind of Lucifer, the TV show that's based on the Neil Gaiman comic Sandman, I think. And I say based on, but it's really just like one character is based on it, and then everything else is kind of different. Kind of like that. It's a buddy cop show with a very Christian-based supernatural element, where the weird supernatural element adds to the comedy, to the storyline, and to the overall kind of aesthetic of the show. It's the same kind of situation here, but instead of having a happy-go-lucky kind of cool, suave guy like Lucifer, you have a more grouchy, angry kind of old guy. Well, he's not really old, but a more kind of grouchy, annoyed, really done with life kind of guy in Bill. And it's really interesting. I quite like it. In fact, I think Slim would be more like Lucifer than Bill. So yeah, it's kind of interesting. I really like it. And I think the overall style that they're going for is really cool. So I'm going to stop saying really cool and really interesting because I'm done now. So hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, please leave a comment, leave a comment and subscribe. I would really appreciate it. And if you're interested in more stuff like this, please make sure to do all of those things. Anyways, thank you guys very much for watching, and I hope to see you guys in the next one. See you guys later.